So any updates from Deion or Jerry that you'd like to share?
Well, I haven't had any updates. I haven't spoken to any one of them in the last 24 hours, but I have had calls from other guys, people like on Deion's staff saying, hey, man, stop that, man. We doing good right here in Colorado, and I understand that. Everybody wants to hold on to him, but everybody's going to want to try to grab him, too. Trust me. Well, I'm just putting it out here. The Dallas Cowboys won't be the only one, or will not be the only ones. Go ahead on, Key. I certainly wouldn't do that, but Key could do it. You know what I'm saying? Smelling around Deion, right? Because that's what success brings. So everybody, it's not me, man. It's what it is. It's what he has done and what he has earned. So, that being said, Key, do you think that Deion is more likely to be coaching in Colorado or the Dallas Cowboys next season?
I honestly think he'll be coaching in Colorado. I do. Because I don't, a lot of people are talking about the opportunity to coach his son at the quarterback position in the National Football League. But Deion ain't following his sons like that. He's not in that situation where he needs his sons to excel at the next level and exceed certain expectations.
Right.
His sons followed him from high school to Jackson State into Colorado. Now, obviously, that's their dad. But he's doing it for the love of the game, but also for his kids to be successful. At some point, he wants his kids to be put in the right position to be successful with the right people that can look after them to make sure that they are doing the right things on the football field. I ain't worried about off the field. That's all right. That was handled when they was born, as far as Deion goes with his family. But I think a lot of people, this is not one of those deals where he's using his sons as a pawn to be able to get the next job. You see what I'm saying? So wherever his sons go, they get drafted.
Right.
If there's an opportunity for like a New York Jets team that may need a head coach like a Deion Sanders, and then they need a quarterback, then there's a fit that's there. But this whole Dallas Cowboy, bring in Deion, go get Shador, it ain't that simple. It really isn't.
I don't even think it has anything to do with Shador in Dallas. I know Michael would like Shador to go there and potentially sit behind Dak Prescott, but the way that I see the Dallas Cowboys next year, Dak Prescott is going to be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys no matter what. And if Shador has an opportunity to go to a good situation with a good coach and play right away and get developed right away, like a Jaden Daniels or a Bo Nix, then that's what he should do. I don't necessarily see the two of them in lockstep into the NFL. When I think of Deion with the Cowboys, it's because of Deion Sanders and the Dallas Cowboys and the opportunity that presents to both of those parties. Deion Sanders, as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, would be the biggest story in all of sports. It would break everyone's brain. You think you're tired of hearing about the Cowboys now? Forget it. It's over. And I also truly believe that the brand of the Dallas Cowboys can only be saved by one man, and that is Deion Sanders. For a multitude of reasons that I went over yesterday, there are certain molds that have been broken. There will never be another Michael Irvin. There's one. There's it. That's it. The mold's broken. It's dust in the wind. And we love you.
All the world can handle.
Yeah, but sure. But it's just the truth. For many different reasons. You guys have legendary careers, and you were also stars at a time when stars were put in a whole different category. You're demigods almost in a lot of ways. Sorry for being blasphemous, but that's what it is. And Deion is that kind of person. He can stand toe-to-toe with Jerry Jones and say, Jerry, we're not doing it that way. For all these reasons, you're going to have to abide. And I really, truly believe that that's been a huge part of the Dallas Cowboys' inability to have success in the postseason because the coaching has not been able to match the energy of Jerry Jones. It's all about brand over ball. And 30 years of evidence would point to maybe I'm onto something. So I think that Deion Sanders is really the only solve for the Dallas Cowboys. And the opportunity is too massive if it is presented to pass up. So I don't think it really has, I don't even see it as a lockstep with Shador. But what do you think about where he'll be coaching next year?
I see it already. He'll be in Dallas. I'm telling you, listen, Key said this. Deion wants him to be in the best position to be successful.
That's the important part.
That's the most important part.
That's what he shared with us.
We're talking about Shador.
Yeah.
Right. And we're also talking about Travis. He wants the best.
Travis, Shador, and Shiloh. All of them.
Right.
Well, what position is that? Him coaching them. It's been that way.
Exactly.
It's been that way.
Exactly.
It's been that way for the last 4 year, 5, however many years he's been coaching. That's been the best possible case scenario. Now,
That's why the New York Jets
the whispers are getting louder and louder. And I know Deion came on this show and was like, I'm happy here. You tell Michael, I love it here. All of these things. But it also comes a time where, you get an offer you just can't refuse. And the thing about Deion, we know Deion as a player. We know him as a coach. Deion is one of the most competitive players and coaches that we've seen in the history of sports. He went to Jacksonville, did what he had to do. He got out of there and left them in a better place. He's doing the same thing for Colorado. And in my eyes, if the season ends now or whatever that season ends, mission is already accomplished in Colorado. Mission is already accomplished. He turned it over in 1 year. In 1 year. First year, it was a transition. This year, they're going to a bowl game and possibly the playoffs. Mission accomplished.
But you said mission accomplished. Now, one thing I would say that I believe wholeheartedly, Deion is committed to the commitment he has made at Colorado.
1,000%.
And he has done.
Well, he was committed at Jackson State, too.
Right. At Jackson State, he was committed. And he's committed here. Now, the question was, at the genesis of this was, where do I think he'll be coaching? Key, you said Colorado. I also don't hope Colorado, but believe Colorado. But I give you this caveat to it, because he wants to complete that mission. If Deion happens to win the national championship,
believe. I'm done. I'm out. Peace. See you later. There's nothing even to talk about.
He's called to the kids. He's committed to Colorado. He's going to work out that mission. That's all he ever talks about. But boy, if they mess around and win a championship,
there's nothing to talk about.
There's
nothing to talk about at that point. If he stumbles up and wins a national title, it's a waste of our conversation.
There's nothing else to ask for.
Yeah, it's really nothing else.
I hear that.
And then go to Dallas and win a Super Bowl. It's the greatest sports story in the history.
Yeah,
he's writing it already. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, my brain pops.
But the only thing, just the thing, the commitment part, right? There's just like certain things in life where, people say they're committed and they are committed.
Right.
But with coaching, there's almost always, until there's not even a question about where you are, unless you're Nick Saban, Alabama, it's just like, and even Saban left college for a little bit. Like, there's other opportunities.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you're not committed, and it doesn't mean that you didn't accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. It's just, if you're an aspirational person, there are...
You're right, Joy. And let me tell you why I said this. Because most coaches are committed to great success. They want to be successful. Deion's commitment is to the kids. It's to the kids. Now, how his success is tied with the kids. These are not just players that come in.
Of course.
Some of these coaches can't, they don't have that kind of relationship that Deion has with those players. And that's where I say that commitment is tied more with Deion. You see that than you've seen with any of these other coaches that say they're committed.
But there will always be more kids.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
There will always be more kids.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
If he doesn't win a national championship, the next year there'll be more kids that he's committed to,
Correct.
And the next year there'll be more kids that he's committed to, and then the kids that are there that he's committed to. Like, that is the nature of it. Like, you will always be leaving kids. Like, you will always be leaving relationships. So whether you leave them now or whether you leave them in 5 years, and that's up to him, obviously. But the idea that you can't leave the kids. You will always be leaving some kids. That's the nature of coaching if you're moving on to another job.
The nature of it is clambering around.
And also, it is. Also, there's no better fit than Deion Sanders in Dallas, somebody who can stand up to Jerry Jones and say, listen, if he goes to Dallas, it's going to be done his way, I guarantee it, because that's the kind of person he's going to be like, Jerry, I don't need to hear what you're talking about in the media. I don't need you throwing me under my bus.
But he ain't going to have to do that, because Jerry's not going to do that anyway.
Yeah, but that's got to be a conversation too.
But you guys are placing
he's going to completely change the culture.
But you guys are placing it in a situation where it would be conflict.
There's no conflict.
It won't be. No, I'm not saying it won't be no conflict.
A great commingling of working together. Deion and Jerry.
They cool. They ain't got a problem.
They're exactly the same.
All I'm saying, we won't be seeing what Jerry be doing to some of his players now and coaches of the past. How he throws them under the bus.
Because the relationship is different
Right.
than it is with the other
But it's
coaches.
always
They won't have to, but they won't have to. If there is any kind of disagreement, you're not going to Jerry.
Exactly.
You're going to be able to talk to Deion. Now, because of the relationship, I tell you, I just talked about that he has with everyone. Every head coach doesn't have that. And so for players going over those guys, it's because they feel like they can't share with those guys, and that guy ain't one of those guys. That's all I'm saying. I can't preach and teach no more than
Make the
this.
most sense. If Deion was the
I
coach,
can't preach and teach no more than
No
this.
more than that. No more than that. No more.
Think about this, though.
But for real.
Get an offer he can't refuse. If Deion had been there prior to this year, does Derrick Henry go to the Ravens? Probably not.
I think the roster looks different than
It looks a lot different.
And
So that's
you know
part of
what?
the problem.
That's a new point and a great point. I mean, how many free agents are going to be able to take less? That's if that happens.
This
But
has
right
to
now,
happen.
he's going to win national championship with Colorado.
Yeah, his focus is Colorado
Yeah, we get
right
it.
now.
Miami's going to win
get
national
it.
championship.
I mean, I get it.
You
But
know, just think about it.
What's left for your kid? You get your kid in the very best position to possibly be a number 1 pick or a top 5, 10 pick. Travis is your other son, and you consider what's left for me as a father. What's left once my kids are done here? What's left?
But that's the commitment to the other kids that he's recruiting, he's brought in.
But this is mine.
I understand that.
Like,
but
I didn't groom him for this moment.
But they go into the National Football League regardless of prime league or
but this is
not.
But again, if he stays there, and that's very well may be what he wants to do, is stay there. I'm just saying, as far as like the commitment to the kids go, and I know this is not like the most romantic thing, but like there's always gonna be more kids.
Right.
Like they're not like there's never gonna be a point where like I've reached the end of my commitments.
A lot of these kids right now, though, a lot of these kids came with him all the way from Jackson.
Yes.
So that
it would be heartbreaking.
So
for them,
you know what I mean?
One of his biggest things in terms of recruitment, it ain't talking to me and Paul to get the kids to come is talking to you, mama.
Yeah.
Mama number 1. And when you look at
Auntie,
mama, the auntie, the mama, when he's recruiting, he ain't necessarily talking to daddy. He talking to mom.
Of course.
And I'm gonna take care of your baby. Your baby gonna be fine. He gonna graduate. He gonna get an opportunity to get you that house.
he also may learn a lesson about change
That's the thing.
and education and you know
That's the thing.
business.
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, yes, it's business.
Very few people do business better than Deion. Y'all saw me at every appliance right there ready on TV.
Do I think, though, now you start talking about business, and the business part of it is economics, because that's what you're really diving into. Do I think that Jerry could outpay anybody he wants to, when he wants to, and how he wants to? Yes. But do I think that Colorado could find some coins somewhere else to raise that number up to the point where you're looking at it and you saying to yourself, okay, these coaches now are getting these 10-year, $100+ million deals that ain't him. They ain't him.
Right.
That's generating the revenue for the university. I guarantee you that university ain't going to let it be that easy for Jerry to swoop in there and Woody Johnson to swoop in there without them saying,
but, I mean,
we going to some of our high net worth individuals and get some more money. Just sit tight.
Deion makes a lot of money, and he's made a lot of money. And economics,
We can't count his money, but
economics are important, but so is strategy. It's not always about the bottom line.
Man, why think coaches leaving?
Michael, what do you always say?
Opportunity.
An opportunity. But what do you
Success
always
is a
say,
formula
Michael?
of opportunity and preparation commingling, and there's some opportunities here. And he is prepared.
He's so prepared.
What do you
I hope
always
it
say
happens.
about working in Dallas?
Well, there's nothing like working in Dallas.
Right.
What do you mean? There is absolutely nothing like working in Dallas. I said that to him 30 years ago when we were recruiting. He was at San Francisco. He said, what is Dallas like? I said, what is San Francisco like? He said, man, it's multiplied by 10 and you'll scratch the surface. Come this weekend and I shall show you. He came and I did. You see what I'm saying? Right. But that's a true story. It was off the chain.
Well, moving on to another big name coach. I guess we'll get that weekend story another time. Bill Belichick is interested in the Jaguars job, according to reports. Doug Peterson is still the head coach in Jacksonville, but both he and the GM, Trent Baalke, could be on the hot seat. According to the report, Belichick has a good relationship with the organization already. P, could you see Bill Belichick coaching the Jags?
Absolutely. I think I said this several weeks ago when the report first came out that Doug Peterson was like on the simmer seat, so to speak, that things weren't going too well down there. He'll have full control if he does that, but he'll hire someone or retain Trent Baalke, because Trent Baalke and Bill Belichick worked together with me in the New York Jets in 98 to 2000. They were together for with us for 4 years there. And so he has somewhat of a little bit of a relationship with Trent Baalke. And Trent Baalke's not a terrible general manager. He's a pretty good general manager in terms of evaluating talent and finding certain players. Now, Bill Belichick, one of the things that happens, as I said in our meeting, with these recycled old coaches that kind of had some success in the National Football League, in order to get back in it, what's the first thing that they seek out is a quarterback. They want to know what team. They're not taking no teams that doesn't have any quarterbacks. That's for first-time head coaches. He wants to make sure he has a quarterback because he's lived that already post-Tom Brady. He's been there, done that. He lived it in Cleveland when he was with the Browns. He lived there and done that. So when you look at Trevor Lawrence in this situation, Trevor Lawrence is a good piece to start with. I don't care how he's playing under Doug Peterson. He is a nice quarterback that has it's like a mold that's already there. It's already right there. Now you just got to fine-tune that and get it to do the right thing. So I wouldn't be shocked at all. Good weather, no taxes, at the beach, golf. He got all that.
He got that now.
He got that.
You don't care about that. You can stay retired and get all that.
But he ain't going to stay retired. He been coaching 1,000 years.
But that ain't what it's going to be about.
1,000-year coaches ain't retired.
That ain't what it's going to be about for Bill.
Absolutely, 100%.
No, he ain't worried about the weather, the beaches, all that.
1,000%.
Coming back to get the rest of the wins.
I think
he can do that too.
He's been coaching more than half his life. And does he want to coach again? Absolutely. I've seen it too many times when coaches hang it up and you think they're done. They've just been doing it too long. But this is my thing about Bill. He's a certain personality. He's one of the greatest coaches to ever play. Why go to a situation to where, I'm going to have control, beach, and all that's nice? Bill wants to win.
First of all, you're in a bad division.
All right, listen, he want to win. Now, I have a better idea. How about Bill? Let's look at him for the Bengals. You said what? He need a quarterback, right? He want a quarterback. What about the Bengals?
Zach Taylor, not this year. They not going to fire Zach Taylor. They're not going to sack.
I think that sounds a little more. That sounds a little more Bill Belichick, because as one of the winningest coaches, coming from a culture to that's all I really did. I need at least a foundation to wear shoes. If I go down there, I'm a defensive coach. That's all they really need. I got a quarterback, check. Receivers, let's make sure we resign them, check. That'll put them right, and that'll put them in position.
The absolute worst organization in the history of Bill Belichick. He would never touch the Cincinnati Bengals in that organization.
But he'll touch the Jaguars?
Yeah, because he has control. He gets to bring in the people.
Why wouldn't you give that control to Bill in Cincinnati?
They never going to do that. They ain't never doing that. They ain't even spending no money. They're not serious about winning this. That's on Cincinnati. Got nothing to do with me.
But I just think, when I think of Bill, going to a situation that's kind of plug and play, where you automatically put Bill in there, you're going to have a chance that year.
Jacksonville was in the playoffs last year.
Right. Yeah, but
and I like Jacksonville.
They're kind of far away from Super Bowl.
I like Jacksonville for this reason, that they haven't had that explosive pair that's so locked in, like Jamar Chase, I'm talking about, over Cincinnati, and Joe Burrow. Bill, I believe, will try to pull that back so he can run wins through his defense. That's why Jacksonville is great and a great opportunity, because now Trevor Lawrence has had all of this pressure on him since being the #1 pick. And everybody keeps waiting on him to live up to that. You go in with Bill Belichick, he's going to bring in the same kind of system and bring the same kind of stuff that Coach Harbaugh brought in with the Chargers. And he's going to say to Trevor Lawrence, okay, you don't have to worry about being the main man now. I'm going to handle everybody. I'm going to make sure they're in where they're supposed to be. We're going to play close football. You'll get an opportunity to make some plays. Just don't hurt us. And he'll win. And he'll win. And he'll be like Tom Brady. The more and more he plays, and the more and more he'll get better. He'll get to the place where we hoped he would be when he first came in the league and take it over in offense.
Did you just hear this?
1,000%.
I ain't say he's going to get it.
What I heard, right?
It's the recipe, Paul.
It's a footprint. It's a footprint. I'm not telling you he's going to get to Tom Brady now.
It's the recipe.
But it's the system in which you're trying to implement.
Good with you.
Here's the thing. I hate to be this person, but this is what happens when great coaches step away, and then they're on television, and we get to see a little cheekiness, which I love.
Which I think helped him a lot.
I love.
Which helped him a lot.
Because there's always been rumors that he's been a little cheeky, and now we're getting to see that. And I think that's special. What I don't think is special is 4-13, which was his record his last year coaching in the NFL. What I don't think is a good idea is to give a coach full control of anything. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to do that? What you should do is delegate to best in class at what they do, and you do what you do. Yeah. Because when you had control of the Patriots, when Tom Brady was no longer there, it was a catastrophe. It was very bad. There were talks about if they were going to fire him. Bill Belichick, who has won 6 championships, who was the coach of a dynasty. So is retirement so bad? I can't wait to retire. Give me a bag. You will not hear from me no more. All this chitter chatter, Joy, shut up. You don't have to worry about me. I will be on an island with a nice icy drink with a little umbrella in it, reading a book. You don't have to worry about me. I don't want to see this. Bill Belichick has erased all of this. All of this little paper with all the stuff that went on in New England the last couple of years he was there when Brady went away. I forgot about all of it. Now I just like hearing from Coach.
But see, everybody keeps saying Brady went away. Brady wasn't the only thing that went away. He was the main ingredient, but it was a bunch of stuff that happened.
He was in charge.
Yes. Sometimes if you stay in a place too long, it gets stale. That's all. I'm not saying that Jacksonville getting ready to go win the Super Bowl.
And to that, you're right. Now, listen, what about Andy Reid? If they made that same assessment about Andy Reid when he left Philadelphia, because his last few years were bad.
Yeah, they went like this.
Kansas City Chiefs would have been hurting right now had they not made that decision.
Andy Reid was,
and it was a small time.
Was it not, just a tidbit younger?
Yeah, a tidbit younger in a whole lot less Super Bowls. Whoa, Joy. And it was a tidbit.
Okay, Keyshawn, why? We can't just behave yourself.
A tidbit younger.
Okay. Fine.
But a
you
whole
got
lot
me there.
more Super Bowls.
Right. Yeah. Age is not a factor.
Right.
Age is not a factor with him now.
Okay, y'all stop.
I'm just saying.
Let's get back to that conversation.
You're making points, Keyshawn.
Back to that conversation. We were comparing him to Andy Reid, who's having great success.
But Andy Reid is also an offensive coach.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence is working right now with Doug Peterson, who is an offensive coach,
right,
who has won a Super Bowl, recently.
But let's go beyond Trevor Lawrence. Let's talk about the whole organization in the last couple of hires that they've made and what's that's been. They need an established guy right now that gives all the authority, that says this guy has authority. This brings respect to our organization right now. And that's what Bill Belichick is.
So what happened in New England at the end?
Again, I must say this. Things will fall apart.
He was in charge. Who was to blame? It was Robert Kraft's fault.
Once you lose Brady, you go into an automatic rebuild.
So was Andy Reid in Philadelphia, guys. It fell apart there.
You know who it didn't fall apart for? Mike Tomlin. They lost a Hall of Fame quarterback.
But no.
But it's only he's one-on-one.
It didn't go. They lost the Hall of Fame quarterback, but when that Hall of Fame quarterback started to kind of
deteriorate,
they never replaced him, and Mike Tomlin had to struggle to keep getting to 8-8.
Yeah, but you know what he never was?
Struggling to get to 8-8.
He still got there. You know what he never was 4-13.
And that's okay. That part of it is okay, Joy. That's fine. Having full control doesn't mean that I'm not going to hire the right people. It just means that I am going to hire the right people. Trent Baalke's already there, so maybe that works out because they're putting pieces. Trent Baalke's putting guys out there that can actually play. They need a coach. And what everybody always says about Bill is he's a defensive-minded coach. No, really, honestly, he's just a football coach. Mm-hmm. He knows X's and O's left and right.
Knows it all.
He knows it all.
Everything.
All of it. Now, do I think he'll do a really good job with a young quarterback in Trevor Lawrence? I think he will. I honestly think he will. I think he'll hire. He won't make the same mistake in hiring somebody. I don't know why he hired Pencil, whatever that dude. What was his name?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. The two dudes he hired to run Joe Judge and Matt Patricia to be like the offensive coordinators. I don't know why Bill did that. Bill made that mistake on his own. Then he went out and he got Bill O'Brien, but it was too late at that point to bring Bill O'Brien back. But you sit out, you sit and you learn from a distance, and you watch some of your mistakes that you made. He's always been he's not everybody has this thing like he's like mean and just,
well, I mean, he worked on that reputation for a long time. I think it's a lot. I think it's a big mountain to climb. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I would be slightly skeptical.
We just don't give this man the credit he deserves.
He is one of, if not the greatest NFL coach ever.
And I understand everybody want to see him without Tom Brady.
They had a 20-year dynasty.
They just want to see him win without Tom Brady.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.